Hey, Rich, when I say I hope everyone's not having a Sports Illustrated sort of day, I say that respectfully. I do. To hear that they basically fired everybody.
You know what was the most respectful thing?
That's really sad, man.
Our buddy Spot's first thought was, does that affect the Sports Illustrated Super Bowl party?
It's one of the big parties every year.
But
Can
not
I still
only
party? I don't care about all the unemployed people.
Not only is it sad to see anyone lose their job, they laid off everybody at Sports Illustrated, their entire staff, but it's the end of an era and something that we all grew up admiring. We all wanted that football phone.
I was going to say, is there a liquidation on football phones?
We all wanted the subscription. We all wanted the swimsuit edition. We all wanted the women in the swimsuit edition. But just really sad because, again, end of an era. It really is. And
that was the last thing. I'll be honest. The swimsuit edition part of it was the final, longest lasting part of the magazine, right?
Yeah. They held on to that for sure.
You know what it's like? It's like the novelty of being on the cover of Sports Illustrated sort of went away, like the same as a rock star being on the cover of Rolling Stone. It just doesn't mean anything anymore.
Yeah. Well, magazines, I'd say, in general, don't hold the weight they used to hold or mean anything anymore.
They don't hold any weight.
Exactly. Rich and I built our
literally and figuratively
talk show career working for Maxim Radio on Sirius. It was just Sirius at the time before they merged with Sirius XM. We were part of that world and loved our Maxims, our stuffs, our blenders, and of course our SIs. And it's no longer as of today.
Yeah. Well, listen, you got to pivot.
Yep.
Pivot. You got to pivot. You got to roll with the punches. You got to roll with the industry that you were in, no matter what you do for a living. Because as you talk about magazines, you're talking about some of my favorite brands of my childhood: Sports Illustrated, Playboy, Maxim, FHM, Highlights Magazine.
Dude, when you're at the doctor's office, those hidden pictures hit.
So, again, no matter what you do for a living, let Sports Illustrated be the example of, if you don't adjust with the times, you will be left behind. It's like the radio person that resists podcasting. It's like it's like the person that refuses to put their business on social media. You have a small business. I don't want to be on social media. Forget that. Well, do you want customers?
Or it's the old coach who doesn't want to update his playbook. I mean, it's whatever it is that you do. No, it's true. I mean, in every industry, you got to adjust and make the moves.
It's a combination of the new and the old, right? Think about in sports, analytics and your gut. Baseball is the best example of...
Would you say Al Michaels is one of those guys this year?
I mean, I think Al Michaels still sounded fantastic. Maybe just because I love his voice. But Al Michaels, I think he was just sort of fed up.
But didn't want to adjust... I mean, look, he's had a great, long, and stellar career. I'm just saying.
I don't know the story behind it. What did he not want to adjust?
I don't know. It seemed like he was a little grumpy about lots of things that were going on in the NFL.
I just think he seemed a little apathetic about some of his calls.
Still one of the best. But my point was, sometimes you just got to roll with it. You just got to roll with it and make those adjustments. Or, hey, stay true to what you do, but it might not last.
No, that's bad advice.
Sports Illustrated.
That's bad advice. Don't stay true to what you do if what you do is going away.
Disingenuous, but hey, Sports Illustrated, no longer.
Don't be disingenuous, but you'll be broke.
Hey, I'm not going to be a phony baloney just to fit in with the times. I'm not going to give that kind of advice, but Sports Illustrated, sad story. Hope your day is better than that.
Dude, I went to Syracuse University for college. One of the most popular majors was was majoring in magazine and newspaper. Because back then, late 90s, early 2000s, let's just say the internet hadn't taken the world by storm yet. So I had plenty of friends that were journalist, magazine. It was like a magazine newspaper major. And just think of how that just seems irrelevant.
Obsolete. It really does. And my buddy sent me the article today. First I saw it was out of the New York Post. Sports Obliterated was the headline.
That's a good one.
Sports Obliterated. Sports Illustrated's entire staff told they're getting laid off. And again, it really did mold our lives as sports fans. It really did. When you think about the covers, when you think about the subscriptions, your interest, who made the covers. You were always intrigued as a kid. I would say that was that and highlights were probably my longest subscriptions as a little boy. I had my Highlights magazine, and I had my Sports Illustrated. And I did have my Sports Illustrated SI phone. I didn't have the football phone, but I did have a Sports Illustrated phone in my room for a long-ass time, and it was very much a part of our life.
Not to go too old school, but what is the old school thing that you really did love, and you're like, it's a shame it went away, but I get it. Like, for instance, reading a Sports Illustrated. I think something we all watched our whole childhood. You're like, this is one of your old guy traits, I think, and you don't have many. You watch SportsCenter every night.
I still do. Yeah, all the time.
And the only way that show still survives is by injecting it with personality like SVP, Scott Van Pelt. You have to do segments like bed beats or interviews or this or that, because highlights, if it was just highlights running, get that on your phone. If I hear a good play happened and I was out and about, like, did you see that home run by Bryce Harper? I'm going to Twitter or Instagram, immediately we'll see it.
Yeah.
So I think you have to reinvent, and when you don't, you see things fall by the wayside.
I got one for you. And they didn't want to adapt with the times. They didn't want to do a website or get involved in the internet and any of that, and it really hurt them. All the Toys R Us shut down across the country. It's something I'm never going to bring my boy Koa to.
Oh, hold that thought. I think they're trying to make a comeback.
Are they?
Okay.
Yeah,
but in like pop-up fashion. Like, no one's going to go to the toy store.
But they're trying to make a comeback. Same with, Chuck E. Cheese. I don't know. They've been trying to shut down for years. But I heard they're doing a game show.
Themselves,
they're trying to reinvent the brand again. So, hey, I wish SI the best. Maybe there is room for them somewhere, somehow. But it's a sad, sad story.
I mean, maybe some of the good writers get a job at The Athletic or some of the other paid subscriptions. But
they were great at Rich putting together those year-end like VHSs and World Series DVDs and things like that.
You mean things you could look up on YouTube immediately?
I'm saying back in the day,
that's what I'm
bozo.
saying. But I'm just proving the point that those are things that we loved. I used to love going to Blockbuster Video. The smell of the carpet in there, the smell of popcorn. There was also that smell of the plastic VHS tapes. You'd love Blockbuster, but isn't it easier to sit on your ass and stream things on your TV?
Oh, hell yeah. Because Netflix innovated.
The ability to buy that championship package when your team won.
Bam!
Yep.
Oh, my goodness.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yes.
That was badass.
Yes.
Immediately
You're right.
had the advertisements at the end of the game.
Dude, that would put a tingle
Own
in
your
your
piece.
sports dingle.
I'm
I
with
still
you,
have.
DB.
When Ohio State won the national championship, when they beat Miami in January of 2003, immediately ordered it. I still have the football. I still have the book. There was, I think, a crappy hat that went with it, but
You're not alone. That was one of the coolest things that they would do.
and displayed all of it. Like it was like,
Oh, yeah.
on my like it wasn't like I just want this. Like I want people to see that I got this.
See, that's what's sad about the whole thing. You know what it's like? Remember when Twinkies said, we're calling it quits? And then everyone was like, no, we love Twinkies. But meanwhile, no one bought a Twinkie in 20 years. We all loved SI. We all loved our little box sets and our commemorative year-end championship VHSs and all the magazines and swimsuit issues. We loved everything about it. But when's the last time you bought one?
Yeah, ask
right. So
yourself
we're
that.
all to blame.
Even Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition. You know what you would do? You would see the pictures of the hotties on Instagram. You wouldn't buy the magazine.
We're all to blame. So we can only feel so sad. And
Well,
you know what, Rich? You're right. They're all going to get gigs doing something else. We hope. So.
Yeah, the cream will rise
They had
to
a
the top
great run.
if they pivoted. We talked about things that just change, and if you don't adjust. Blockbuster Video, I always thought that was the biggest fail of all time. If you watch that documentary about Blockbuster, there was a point where they just very much resisted technology. In fact, at one point, there was a deal in place where Netflix said, hey, do you want to absorb us for $50 million? And Blockbuster was like, nah,
we got it.
we got it. And then when you think about the billions and billions that Netflix is worth now, Blockbuster didn't pivot. They thought, we don't need to do streaming or sending DVDs. What we'll do is no late fees. Their solution was no late fees, and that was one of the worst pivots in business history. While Netflix started taking off, sending DVDs in the mail, and then streaming, Blockbuster's like, yeah, that's great. No late fees.
Yeah, they
it was
blew
the
it.
worst move in business history, you could argue.
They blew it. So sad day, end of an era. But luckily for you, you have Fox Sports Radio, Covino and Rich. All right.
Yeah.
You know what? People calling up to say what's up.
Oh, maybe we should. Our giveaway should be football phones.
That would be dope.
Someone's got to do it now.
After we get rid of the water bottles, the nice stainless steel Swiggies,
Swiggies.
maybe the next week we should do old school landline football phones or hamburger phones. I don't know.
Football phones
I
is
like
what
the
they were known
see-through
for.
ones, the blue ones. That
Oh,
are
the
all
see-through, you can see the-
double
yeah.
cords.
You wonder if
Let's
technology, killed the football phone, right?
Yeah.
Yes. No more cord, no more laces.
I'm giving up my iPhone
Yeah.
for a football phone. I
We
love
can
it.
make cases that look like football phones.
Now you're
Like a
talking.
phone
Dude, you
cases.
wanted that phone so bad when they advertised that, right? And, anytime anyone came door to door back in the day, flash it back on a Friday with, like, here's the subscriptions we're trying to sell you, or whatever little thing you brought home from school for magazine subscriptions. SI was the only one I ever really cared about as a kid. Sports Illustrated, that was the one. So it's donezo. Go into your phone calls, 877-99 on Fox.
I don't want to throw you on the spot, but this is sort of breaking news as of today. If I were to say Sports Illustrated cover, what comes to mind right away? It could be embarrassing.
This
it could
year's
be.
Deion Sanders Sportsman of the Year, wasn't he?
They printed that on.
Yeah, didn't
On
that get a lot
paper?
of criticism because it seemed like such a desperate attempt to jump on the Deion Sanders hype train? People were like, not Shohei Ohtani? Are you kidding me? Not Jokic? Deion? I think that was a big story at one point. Every day we're hit with so many different stories, but which one stands out? Man, so many. I could picture
Where did A-Rod and
Magic
Jeter,
Johnson, all the young
Where
shortstops.
the shortstops do their shirtless photo
that
shoot?
was SI, yeah.
That
I'm
might
pretty
be
sure
the
that,
one.
I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
that was
Clearly
SI.
that stands out to you.
No, I mean, there's so many legendary ones. So many cover. If you were, like Rich said before, major honor if you were on the cover of Sports Illustrated.
There's a famous one of Tiger celebrating in his Sunday red with his club up in the
Could
air.
totally picture
Yeah.
it for sure. Yeah, these
Yeah,
are all iconic moments, man.
It's the same, like we said. It's a rock star saying, "Yo, I'm on the cover of Rolling Stone," was the same as an athlete saying, "Yo, I'm on Sports Illustrated."
Hey, Rich, any value in those old school bad boys now? Thinking about it now that it's done, or
Oh, the
no?
old Sports Illustrated. I'm
Yeah.
seeing here online, $19.
Oh, wow. Hey,
Oh, this one with Daryl Strawberry on it. Ooh,
oh yeah, I remember that one.
$16.
I can see now when you go through those, I can picture them. Yeah. Let's go to the phones and just say what's up. We have a lot to get to today, but that happened today, so we figured we'd bring it up. Start thinking about this. Would you let anyone at your job date your sister?
That's a
There's
good question,
story.
yeah.
There's a story about the Green Bay Packers. Would you let anyone at your job, or anyone you know for that matter, quote unquote, date your sister? Plus, we have a bunch of Lions storylines. And, of course, weekend hobnobbing like we do every Friday. What you need to watch this weekend in sports and entertainment. Let's say what's up.
Tim, Seattle, kick it off. Covino and Rich, what's up, man?
What's up? So I am the same age as the Seattle Seahawks, grew up watching them and wanting the leather-bound commemorative if your team wins the Super Bowl.
Without a doubt. Totally remember that. They would pitch it every year, man. Every year. And if your team won, man, that was, like Dan Byer said, that was the best. That was the best. Leather-bound year-end commemorative book and VHS set, box set they'd give you.
I'm looking at some of the most popular Sports Illustrated covers of all time. Jordan driving to the basket, A Star is Born.
That's what I'm saying. There's no value in that. Now, if you're ever going to sell them, I'd say today would be the day.
Christy Brinkley on the cover of one of the early swimsuit editions.
Oh, my.
Oh, my.
Oh, my, oh, my.
Oh, my.
Let's talk to Kevin.
Hawaii. What's up, Kev?
My God, you killed me. I was going to say Kathy Ireland on the cover. But what I used to do in sixth grade is back in 1988, I would take my dad's, like, outside of Sports Illustrated and put the swimsuit edition on the inside because I went to a Catholic school, and I got suspended for it for 2 days.
I did the same thing, but mine was worse. I had WWF wrestling magazines with pornos on the inside.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. I had like smut magazines, and my mom's like, "You really love Hacksaw Jim Duggan." I'm like, "I do." Wow, Richie, you're really always looking at that Macho Man Randy Savage. Mom, I love him.
It's so interesting that Rich sleeps with the Bushwhackers magazine.
That's weird. It's weird.
Very interesting.
Well, think about it. They pivoted the adult industry from magazines and that to now women are doing OnlyFans. Like, it's about evolving in whatever business you do. Even the smut industry has evolved in its own way, right?
Absolutely.
Let's go to Bruno. What's up? In Brooklyn. What's up, Bruno?
Hey, Bruno.
CNR guys, hey man, listen, just an article today came out. Print is dead. I mean, you talk about magazines, but the print, like newspaper industry, one of the largest printers in the country, international, actually, is a company called Quad Graphics, and guess what they printed? One of the magazines they printed was Sports Illustrated. They're closing their doors. They're going out of business because not all of them are going out, but all these magazines have gone digital, and they don't have a need anymore for printing. And it's I think about 500 people are getting laid off at this one factory.
It's sad. No one likes to see people get displaced and lose their job. It's a bummer, right? Like, I feel that way sometimes about old school radio DJs. Like, we do a talk show, we stream stuff, we're up to date on where things are. But I always think about those old school DJs like, hey, it's Cousin Brucey, Flash Phelps, so like all the old timey, the guy out here, what's his name?
Hollywood Jackson?
No.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
The guy that does nights on 60s on 6 on Sirius XM, like all these old time.
Oh, Wolfman Jack.
Wolfman. No, but guys like that, I always do wonder, do they just hope to be able to retire before they're obsolete?
It's a scary thought.
It's a scary thought, right? Like you're always like one step ahead of the Grim Reaper of business. Because eventually they'll be like, yeah, we don't need DJs for the oldies channel, and that guy better hope he's retired by then.
This whole Twilight Zone.
Like there's got to be
obsolete.
There's got to be sports writers, and we met a bunch of them when we worked at SNY in New York. There was a show before us. We did COVINO Rich, like a half-hour daily show. Before us was Daily News Live, and I'm like, how long is the Daily News going to be around?
It was like a
bunch of old guys with mustaches.
Yeah, a bunch of like beat writers with mustaches talking about sports. Very old school. It's a dying breed for sure.
I have a question, guys. Okay, I was thinking about paper clips. With all these papers going away, paper clips have been around since 1867. They are tried and true. They don't seem to be needing an upgrade or anything, right?
No.
Like, they added a couple extra shapes just for fun, but I don't see those going away, right?
Lorena, I'm telling you right now, even office supplies.
No.
There's things that we don't need. My wife makes fun of me, and these guys make fun of me because I'm a big writing notes on paper guy. I even have my calendar on a dry erase board in my home office. Spot's like, why don't you just use Outlook?
That's old guy behavior.
I know.
That's like your dad writing reminders on Post-it notes.
You have a wife and kids. You should have synced calendars, knowing where everybody is at all times.
Lorena, I have a 4-foot-tall dry erase board.
Physical dry erase board.
I love my sticky notes, okay?
Yeah.
Like, don't take my sticky notes.
Is this why Staples couldn't afford the naming rights to the arena in L.A. any longer?
Yeah, they're like, yeah, sorry, no can do. And by the way, that old school DJ out here in L.A., Danny G, do you know the name from when you were younger? Shotgun Tom Kelly.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Shotgun Tom Kelly. Like guys like that are great at what they do, but how much more is there a need for the oldies DJ?
I think that applies to everybody, not just Shotgun Johnson. What's his name?
Shotgun Johnson. Go with that.
Yeah. I mean, because you know what? You're going to be there too if you don't make those adjustments.
Is that your nickname in the bedroom?
That's my. I'm sorry. That's my nickname, guys.
Shotgun Johnson.
If you fail to make that pivot, that's going to be everybody. Nobody's immune to it.
Of course, man. Listen, there are times where I get it. People want to get a little money under the table, but there are times you go places and they're like, cash only. I'm like, I don't know what to tell you then. Some kid hit me up at the mall. You know when kids sell candy bars out of their little box?
Most annoying thing ever.
But I get it. My wife is like, when I was cheerleading, my family didn't have money, and I would do that type of stuff. So anytime I see a kid that's like, yeah, can you buy $2 for my basketball team candy bar? I always do it, but I don't have cash. And the kid's like, don't sweat it. I got Venmo. And I bought it because I was like, I like the way you're thinking, kid. Who has cash on them? You pivoted.
Yeah.
Girl Scout cookies, Lorena. I'm getting hit up left and right at the school. Every little kid's like, here's my mom's Venmo.
If you find the powder-coated lemon ones, grab me a box.
And we're not saying that SI didn't pivot and didn't have some sort of online presence, but by the time, by the time they went there was so many other brands and so many other things ahead of the game.
And for the record, I'm going to bring all those Girl Scout cookies in here to make you guys all fat.
Oh, I'm good on that.
Plus, they didn't adapt with the sports fan either.
Exactly, yeah.
Listen, man, we got to be honest with yourself. Barstool, Bleacher Report, The Athletic,
They
all
appeal to a younger.
By the time a
more
Sports
rabid
Illustrated
online fan.
prints, that story's a week old.
The type of radio we're doing, what Lebitard does, what McAfee, Sports
it
Illustrated.
would be like if we came on the air and played sound and like sports audio from a week and a half ago.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. So it makes sense. It's amazing it lasted this long. So end of an era. We'll wrap it up with one more phone call.
And again,
we got Mel in Maryland.
Again, let's go to Mel. Mel, what's up, bud?
Hey, guys. How you guys doing?
We're good, man. What's up?
All right. Look, I was on the Blockbuster deal with the same thing what you said like years ago. I was like, they made their biggest mistake. But you know who else made a big mistake? Kodak.
Oh.
They did not, when it came out, what was the biggest attraction? Pictures. All they had to do was put the name on the cell phone.
Kodak could have partnered up with any cell phone provider and said, "Listen, we're thinking ahead. We're going to do our own smartphone." We assume it's just iPhone, and some people have an Android. There could have been a more competitive market if those camera companies said, "No, we're going to have the smartphone with the best camera." You're right about that, 100%.
Yeah, thanks. Hey, thanks, Mel. Got to pivot, make adjustments, and SI just makes you think of all those other things that have come and gone, travel agents, is there really a need? Avon ladies,
Avon. Now women have sex toy parties.
that was the pivot.
You got to pivot.
That was the pivot.